Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this from the National Cryptocurrency Association. Most holders in America report crypto having a positive impact on their daily lives, financial independence, opportunities, and innovation. Real benefits for real people. You know what crypto does? It gives you hope for the future. And once you get invested into crypto, there's no turning back. You can't stop buying it once you start buying it. I always said it's an addiction that pays for itself over time. But it gives you financial freedom in the end. That's what's great about crypto. Your money in the bank is not wealth. It's a melting ice cube. Don't underestimate how fast ice melts. That comes from Black Swan Capitalist. You know, if you have money in a savings account right now and you don't ever touch any of that money, you just leave it sit there, it's still going to lose value over time because the purchasing power of the US dollar is decreasing every single day. A dollar buys you less and less as time goes on. So that's why crypto is a better alternative to a bank account. At least over time, crypto will rise in value. Then there's this. Russia warns U.S. is trying to exploit global crypto users to erase its $35 trillion in debt by pushing stablecoin adoption backed by U.S. treasuries, then devaluing the dollar. Did Russia just say the quiet part out loud? And if Russia sees this, I'm sure every other country sees this as well. But remember when Trump said that they're going to pay off the debt with Bitcoin? Take a listen.
Who knows, maybe we'll pay off our $35 trillion, hand them a little crypto check, right? We'll hand them a little Bitcoin and wipe out our $35 trillion.
But how do you want it to be more prominent in America? How will that work?
Oh, it's going to work easily. It's already prominent. It's moving along. It's very loosely regulated. That's one of the reasons it's moving along. But it is a different form of a currency, and it's going to end up benefiting the country. But if we shut it down, like, Biden's trying to shut it down, Biden doesn't have the intellect to shut it down. Can you imagine this guy's telling you to shut something down like that? He has no idea what the hell it is. But if we don't embrace it, it's going to be embraced by other people. It's a massive thing already. Did you read where it's bigger than...
You take notice that they're always selling you the idea that if we don't buy up all the Bitcoin, someone else is going to do it. And we're not going to pay off the debt using Bitcoin. Instead, what they're going to do is they're going to tie Bitcoin to the debt as well. So when everything goes, it all goes at the same time, like one massive reset. And when he talked about pushing all the debt into stable coins, Tether was the 7th largest buyer of U.S. Treasuries in 2024. A 150-person company is now a bigger U.S. debt holder than many governments. Tether's holding a lot of the U.S. debt already. So imagine that. You are backing something with debt. Then they devalue the dollar, so the value of the debt even goes down. And the chances of that debt getting paid back is never going to happen. They're going to reset all of it. And that's why you invest in something like XRP. Because once they get rid of all the debt, and if Tether was to come crashing down, and most likely this is probably the end game for Tether, is it would come crashing down, taking Bitcoin with it, and then we get the rise of the Phoenix. I'm just thinking out loud. This comes from Black Swan Capitalist. I told you, stablecoins aren't the solution. They're a tool to funnel global capital into U.S. debt. allowing the dollar to be devalued and leaving holders exposed. This is why XRP matters. A neutral bridge asset outside the debt system, providing sovereignty and liquidity. They'll tie Tether and Bitcoin to the debt. And when it all comes crashing down, then all of a sudden they'll utilize something like XRP to move the new digital dollar all around the world, strengthening the digital dollar. And anybody that's holding any kind of money at that time, their money would also become even more worthless because they're going to be devaluing the dollar as well. Recommendations to pay off the U.S. debt by implementing XRP. Remember, we always thought XRP would be used to pay off the U.S. debt. So debt repayment efficiency, a $10,000 per XRP, only 4 billion XRP would be needed to cover the entire national debt. Acquiring this amount now up at approximately $2.40 per XRP would cost around $9.6 billion, providing extraordinary leverage on investment. That was back when XRP was at $2.40. But they're saying at $10,000, it would only take 4 billion XRP to cover the debt. Would that happen? That was always something that was talked about. But now it seems like stablecoins are going to play a bigger role in wiping out the U.S. debt. XRP would rise from the ashes and be the digital dollar mover. And remember I said they're always trying to sell you the idea that the U.S. has to buy up all the Bitcoin before somebody else does? Well, that somebody else does not exist. China doesn't care. All these other countries could care less about Bitcoin. What they care about is gold. As you can see in this chart, central banks got ahead of this trend. Central banks now hold more gold than U.S. Treasuries for the first time since 1996. The unprecedented gold buying spree by central banks is not a coincidence. It's because they're going to back their currency with gold. The U.S. is going to do the same thing. Every single country is going to back their currency with something like gold. Or maybe they use something else. Maybe it's silver. Maybe it's palladium. Whatever. It doesn't matter. They're going to back their currencies with something because we're going back to an asset-backed time when it comes to U.S. dollars, any currency in the world. The Mbridge cross-border CBDC project in China is advancing, with Chinese banks conducting cross-border payments. Starting in July, state-owned banks were involved, followed by non-state and regional banks by August, showing significant progress. I always like the idea of Project Mbridge because Project Mbridge includes those liquidity pools. Remember, I always said the way we get to scarcity is XRP being locked away in massive liquidity pools, and that would lead to scarcity. Connection between Ripple, MCBDC, Bridge platform, blockchain-based SDR. The MCBDC Bridge platform can be maintained by liquidity pools on Ripple's on-demand liquidity platform using ISO 222 as the common standard. MCBDC Bridge leverage CBDCs using SDR for settlement. Liquidity pools are the key to a very, very high-priced XRP. That's what it comes down to. And that's why I've been telling you, every single white paper that the BIS put out, it's always built around on-demand liquidity and RippleNet technology. And the fact that the BRICS are utilizing the same technology, it shows you that they're going to be utilizing XRP within the BRICS countries. So when Russia is sending China money, it's going to go through a liquidity pool that's holding XRP. It'll go in as the Russian ruble and come out as the digital yuan, all traveling through XRP. Like I said, every country that is going to need that trust layer in between when sending money back and forth within the BRICS. Pundit says $100 is the true potential of XRP if Ripple gets banking license and corporate adopts XRP. Now, we already know there's going to be corporate adoption of XRP. The institutions are already on their way. But the Ripple banking license, that's going to come later. That's going to come sometime early next year. So wherever XRP is at, going into, say, January, February, if Ripple gets that banking license at that same time, could you imagine how high the price of XRP would go? It would definitely take off because more and more people would be FOMOing in once that happens. More and more institutions would be FOMOing in as well. What I'm telling you is this, is right now, everybody's talking about a $50 plus XRP. You start to factor in the catalyst, and we might get to that 589 price point sooner than we think. But I wanted to do this video and talk a little bit about that announcement coming out of Russia, because that is significant. I think they told you the plan out loud. And this plan does not favor Bitcoin in any way. Think about it. Tether is already holding that debt. And once they devalue the dollar, that debt is worthless as well. And it's going to bring Tether down, essentially bringing Bitcoin down. And they're tying Bitcoin to the debt at the same time by tying Tether to the debt. So either way you look at this, the end game here is the rise of the Phoenix anyway, which is XRP. Even if they don't utilize XRP to pay off the debt, at the end of all of this, they're going to need a solution to re-strengthening the dollar by moving it around the world in a matter of seconds for less than a penny, using the world's bridge currency, XRP. But until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.